Hi, my name's Kyle. Myself and 3 other people started Permaculture Center Kamimomi in Okayama, Japan. Our work revolves around all aspects of Satayama revitalization, including the renovation of an existing Japanese house, Kominka, the renovation of the Earthen Storehouse, new natural building making use of the local timber, the earth here, the bamboo, and straw. This is the main house on the property. It's about 50 years old. Our first couple of years was spent just kind of cleaning out the house, and the past couple of years we've spent in the actual renovation of the building. This is the entrance for the house. The original entrance was roughly the tile area here, but we get lots of guests, so it was important to have a big entrance. So we took out this raised floor and made this entire space the entrance for the building. This is a Japanese cypress that we felled, and my friend John did this type of finish with a Japanese chona, an az. And it functions both as kind of the daikoku bashira, which is like the main post near the entranceway of a house. Kind of has a spiritual significance in Japanese building, kind of separating the outside world from the inside world. And it also provides support for a potential hot water tank on the second floor. Yeah, there's a number of kind of interesting ceiling finishes here. We've got a typical tongue and groove cedar ceiling there. This is a reed mat ceiling finish. And in this room here in the pantry, or not in the pantry, in the cupboard area, we have a bamboo that we cut from the bamboo grove and heated over fire and rubbed out the oils. It's interesting, the cost, right? This would be probably more than $30 a square meter. This is about $3 a square meter, and the bamboo is zero, right? Because it's from the mountain. This is the main kind of classroom area. The finish that we have up above here is a paintable earth plaster, and this can be applied with a roller or a brush. Consists of earth, wheat flour, glue, and water. Those are the only ingredients. Good durability, and it kind of gives a natural finish. And last fall we hosted a DIY plastering workshop where we used sgraffito. It's a type of kind of I would say Central European finish where you layer different colored lime plasters and you scratch away the top layer to reveal the layer below. An image of terraced rice fields. And this is an example of that same type of plastering technique where you layer different colored plasters and then scratch away the top layer to reveal the lower level layer. And in this case we have a yellow clay from Aichi Prefecture and then a dark clay that we made using the soot from wood burning stoves. Okay, this is Japanese lime plaster. It's called shikkui in Japanese. It consists of hydrated lime, seaweed glue, and hemp fiber. Those are the 3 ingredients in Japanese shikkui. In Japanese it's called a kura or dozo. It's an earthen storehouse. Very thick earthen walls, probably about 30 centimeters thick. And those thick earthen walls create a very stable climate inside. It has a very stable temperature and humidity throughout the year inside. The main purpose of the kura is actually protection from fire. A typical Japanese home is built with all flammable materials, right? Thatch, thin shoji doors or windows, a wooden timber frame. So generally your most precious valuables and food stocks were kept in the kura to protect them from fire and to provide a stable environment. Behind me is the old barn. In the past, cattle were kept in the first floor and feed was stored probably in the second floor of that building. It's leaning quite a bit and some of the timbers are rotten. I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'm going to meet with a couple of carpenters and we're going to talk and see if we can save it, and if we can't, we'll probably take it down. We probably had about 12 people, and I think it took us 4 days to build this stone wall. In order to build that road going to the next valley, we cut a road into this slope. We built a stone wall, kind of a retaining wall, and then we used the earth that we cut out. Some of it is left here to build this new building over here. I'll show you now. Probably I would say 90% of the materials used in this building, maybe more, are from this mountain or from the immediate area. Almost all the timber is from the property. The timber frame rests on a stone foundation, and then the insulation in the entranceway is rice husk lime insulation. I'll tell you a little bit about the development of those insulation, the different kind of insulation that we used in a little bit. This entranceway is a traditional Japanese timber frame. However, you don't see that timber frame because in Japanese we would say it's okabe. The timber frame is concealed by the plaster. And between the stone foundation, in order to build kind of a stem wall for the insulated wall, we've used just local stone from the property. And then above that is a hydrated lime and sand mortar, and then just old tile and earth that was recycled from old buildings on the property. Yeah, this is what the rice husk lime insulation looks like. We have a large round wood timber frame, and then we kind of have a curtain wall built on the outside of that timber frame. The depth of the curtain wall is about 15 centimeters. And then on the exterior and interior, we have split bamboo stapled on both sides of the wall. And a mixture of rice husks and lime is poured into the wall little by little, building up the wall. And then that's plastered over with earth. And you can see what that looks like when it's plastered over with earth because it's already plastered above here. The north wall of this building is built with straw bales. They're stacked on edge, meaning the depth of the wall is about 35 centimeters and the height of each bale is about 45 centimeters. The timber frame is supported by stone, but this straw bale wall is supported with a long tube earth bag foundation, and they're filled with gravel. The advantage of filling these earth bags with gravel is that the space between the gravel is quite large, and it acts as a capillary break. Moisture doesn't travel up through the gravel. During the renovation of the main house on the property, which is about 50 years old, there was lots of old concrete block that came out of that renovation. And one characteristic of the concrete block walls from 50 years ago is they didn't use steel reinforcement. So it's quite easy to knock down those walls. And normally all that block would become landfill, right? But we were able to make an interesting reuse of that block. We couldn't reuse it as is because of the mortar stuck on the top and bottom of the block. But what we did is we laid it on its side and stacked it up as a foundation. These are non-load bearing walls, meaning the weight of the roof is carried by the timber frame structure. These are just the curtain wall foundations. This is light straw clay. Lots of straw mixed with a small amount of clay and then packed into temporary formwork. And when that formwork is taken off, this is the wall that's left. It's a great mix of insulation and thermal mass. And then over this, we'll put a layer of earth plaster. And you can see what that earth plaster looks like above this area where we've already plastered. The south side of this building is exposed timber frame, meaning you can see the posts and the timber frame on the south side, and the walls are built between those timber frames. I think they call it a half timber. The infill system that we used here was developed by a friend of mine named Michael Smith. Basically, to kind of describe the structure of this wall, at 40 center intervals, there's vertical bamboo in this wall. And then he takes long straw, dips it in a clay slurry, and then weaves that straw through the vertical bamboo structure inside the wall, kind of leaving this. So I think it's quite beautiful, and it provides better insulation than you would normally get with a typical Japanese earthen plastered wall. The advantages of this living roof is that it's very inexpensive, it's very easy to build, and at the end of the building, all the materials can basically be returned to the earth. And the waterproof membrane, I think, can probably be used for other uses as well. All of the material costs for this 100 square meter roof is probably about less than $2,000. So it's, I think, quite remarkable that you can roof a building that large at that low of a cost. The material that we used for the roof consists of rice husks and compost. I was looking for a very lightweight material to use. The disadvantage is that it has too much, the drainage is too good. It doesn't hold water as much. So what I'm doing is slowly bringing up more native clay up to this roof to improve the water holding capacity of the roof. This is the Treehouse. It was built in September of 2019. The head carpenter was Mark Korinsky from Austin, Texas. It took 10 people 10 days to build this treehouse.